but now you're back.
All right, here we are again. We are the vinyl community Guncles, ready to tackle the year 1998. Woo! The tops and bottoms of that year musically. Yeah, so I wonder how we'll have as many. Yeah, okay. First of all, I'm sick. I'm Robert. Along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and ladies and gentlemen, the man that already has Mermaid Avenue pulled and ready to show, Mike from Hub Tunes. Either have a cold or COVID, one of the two. We'll find out. Be excited.
Oh, well, we'll get through this, Robert. We'll get through.
Mike is up first.
Yeah,
with Mermaid Avenue.
Yeah, with Mermaid Avenue. First, I wanted to thank one of our viewers, Patrick Shaw, for recommending this book about London Calling.
Oh,
this is a long book, but it's a great read. If you're into The Clash and London Calling, great suggestion. Thank you very much. I am really enjoying that book. So what do we got? I'll go through my. I have a couple of honorable mentions. 98 was a weird year. I mean, I wasn't buying a lot of records. I was buying CDs. I think we all probably were. There was a lot more music I liked in this year than I thought I was going to like. I actually ended up putting about 5 records on my list of vinyl that I want to buy. So a few mentions. Madonna's Ray of Light, my favorite Madonna record. I think it's her best by far. Silver Jews, the folky rock band. American Water, probably their most popular record. That came out. Lucinda Williams, Car Wheel on a Gravel Road. What a great record that is. If you like Lucinda Williams, you like that kind of swampy country music, her gargly voice. She sings like she's got a mouthful of marbles. But it's a great record. It's probably her best record. Eels, Electroshock Blues. I do not have that, and I'm a huge Eels fan. I don't know what happened. I
don't know anything about them.
Oh, they're such a great band. Their new album just came out. It's terrific. Sparkle Horse, Good Morning Spider came out that year. I didn't realize that album came out that year. Excellent album. Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach, the Painted from Memory album. Very, very cool record. Beck, Mutations. I don't have Mutations in my collection. I have no idea. I can't find it. I thought I had it. Belle and Sebastian, there you go, right there. Great Beck album. Belle and Sebastian, Boy with the Arab Strap. Not one of my favorite records of theirs, but all their records are fun to listen to. They're all great. And Calexico, The Black Light. Excellent album. Really, really good. I love Calexico. And that might be that whole era. They had like 3 albums right in a row that were absolute perfection. So then I pulled a few records.
Oh, I saw my favorite.
Oh, do you want me to not talk about it?
You can talk about it because then I can diss it.
Or you can just talk about it in the bottoms.
Yeah, it's actually not in. It is now.
PJ Harvey released Is This Desire. This is the demos. Apparently I don't have this record, but I do have the demos for some reason. This is a band called Karate. They were they weren't big, but they made about 4 or 5 albums. They recently got back together. I saw them at a club, and man, there were only like 40 people in this little club, but they were great. It was a Pitchfork after show last year, and they're really cool. They're kind of jazzy guitar, but a little post-punky. And this is a great. I'm gonna show this vinyl. This vinyl's really cool. Really nice. Yeah, they're a cool band. They're kind of minimalist, post-punk, but they're kind of jazz tinge to them. This is Mark Hollis, lead singer from Talk Talk, goes solo, makes the only solo of his record. Career. And then he would disappear for the rest of his life. But great record if you like those later Talk Talk albums. This is a must-have. He does a couple of covers of those songs. He does Color of Spring on here. I think there's one other song that he does from those records.
I've always meant to listen to it. I've never heard it.
It's really good. It's in the same vein as those
okay.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I still haven't gotten the last 3 Talk Talk records. I have the first 2, and that's it.
Yeah, they're out
I
there.
don't know what my problem is.
No, you can get them pretty cheap too. I mean, they've all been reissued, so yeah, you can find them. I love this band. This is their best album. This is Gomez. Bring It On.
Oh,
Excellent, excellent
goodness.
band. They are without a record contract right now. I saw the two lead singers a couple of months ago live, and they have a whole album recorded, but they don't have a record contract, so they're working on getting a new record out. But this is a great record. The song "Whippin' Piccadilly" is awesome. Just a fun jam. Mermaid Avenue.
Oh,
Tortoise.
who is
Wait a
Mermaid?
minute, what's Mermaid Avenue?
Wilco and Billy Bragg.
Oh, okay.
They made a series
That's
of records,
why,
three
okay.
records, volume 1, 2, and 3. They take the words and poems of Woody Guthrie and they put them all to music, and they made three records out of them, and they're terrific. Tortoise. This is their debut. TNT, great record. Just a fun instrumental. A little bit jazzy, but a little bit dancey, a little bit rock.
A little bit
definitely
country,
not.
a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah, thank you, Craig.
I'm a little bit country.
Some people say this is the best record of the decade. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I think it's great. It's in my top.
It's not
three
the number
year,
one album of all times.
Yeah, I mean, I love this record.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely in my top 3. It's in Robert's bottoms.
I've never listened to her.
The next 2 are definitely my favorites of the year. They just, I bought them when they came out. They meant so much to me in '98. 98, I was just newly out of the closet. I'd probably only been out of the closet maybe 2 years. And this album came out, and I just lost my shit. I love this band so much, and this is great. They haven't made a bad album, and I just love it. It's just great. And this one, The New Radicals, absolutely love this record. We've reviewed this. I love this record. Ugh. I love it almost as much as Craig.
Oh, I love it more than anybody on the face of the planet. Like, I'm the biggest New Radicals fan.
You are.
And that's my favorite record of all times.
Mm-hmm.
And so much. What did I give it? Like a half a rainbow?
Half a rainbow, probably?
Yeah. I don't even think it got a full rainbow from me. Oh, that was an excruciating experience. But I'm glad you love it.
I do.
It makes me happy that someone loves it.
Not the only one.
Wow.
And that's it. That's all.
All right.
Yeah.
Mine are all CDs and all from actually 1998. Yeah, the Sparkle Horse was great. PJ Harvey, don't have to show those. Back, great. Mutations, a little more acoustic, kind of organic thing from him. Very different. I remember being kind of disappointed at it at the time, but it's definitely better listened to outside of expecting a big follow-up to Odelay, which was a masterpiece. Yeah. I definitely like that a lot more later on. And Ray of Light I had to show because I've got the special promo edition.
I used to have that
CD.
That's cool.
But yeah, so Mike already showed all those. PJ Harvey's great though. I just heard that that was the only one that I wasn't familiar with that I actually heard for the first time last week and thought that was great. Yeah. So I'm definitely getting more into the PJ Harvey that I'd missed. But yeah, Sparkle Horse, I was surprised you mentioned them. They didn't really become that popular, I didn't know anybody else even remembered them.
Yeah.
But I've got going along with the Madonna, Share and Believe.
Believe.
Well, I think it's great. I think that she was somebody that I always liked, even as a little kid. I remember my sister liked her, so I liked her. And then growing up with her, and then later on, I was more of a fan of her in movies in the 80s. Didn't really know about her 80s music. Well, I guess I did know like the late 80s, like If I Could Turn Back Time and We All Sleep Alone and stuff like that. But I think this is really, she really did. She was able to kind of move with the times, put out something that was popular and didn't make herself look ridiculous doing it. I think she fit right in on that. She pretty much, well, I'm sure it wasn't she. The producer really took the auto-tune thing to a whole different level and made it an actual sound, that people wanted to do. Before then, it was kind of a secret thing, that people weren't supposed to know was happening. They were supposed to be fixing people who can't sing. And the producer on this just cranked everything all the way to 10, literally, and made it an actual effect, on a voice. And that was just kind of different. But yeah, I always thought she did so well with that, just being so timely and whatever, but not looking ridiculous doing it like so many people who try to change with the times, and they've been around since the 70s and they're still trying to be relevant in 1998 and they're looking ridiculous. I don't think she looked ridiculous at all. Pearl Jam actually put out what I thought was a really good album, considering what they had been putting out and what they'd be putting out later. I think Yield is probably one of their better ones. It's the one with Wish List on there, which was a single, and of course they're going to make it very difficult to see what songs are on here, but yeah, Faithful. It just a lot of great tracks on here. I kind of got back to basics with this, I think, after trying to be like, moody and weird and kind of jammy and just sprawling. This kind of got a little bit back into tightness, and I actually think this is probably I would say this is probably my second favorite Pearl Jam album, second or third. It's no verses, but it's better than No Code, for God's sakes. Marilyn Manson put out their last album that was I cared about. They really only had the three that the first three, and then after that I kind of jump off.
Agreed.
But this was the third one, Mechanical Animals, where he kind of goes Bowie, industrial Bowie, and the Dope Show, and I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me, and all that, goes with the androgyny thing, steps out of the metal thing. Definitely not as great as Antichrist Superstar, but a decent album from Marilyn Manson. Queens of the Stone Age put out their this is the promo version of this, put out their debut album, which is still, I think, one of my favorite Queens of the Stone Age albums. Not as good as Rated R, but it's all right. Clutch with the Elephant Riders, early Clutch. I think this is their third album, in the typical Clutch fashion. It's got the weird pickups. It's got the weird time changes. It's got the clever lyrics and the, strange vocals and whatever. So Space Hog. This is kind of an overlooked album. They had In the Meantime was the big hit off the one before this. This one didn't have any hits, but it's kind of great all the way through, especially once you get into it more. The first couple of tracks are kind of throw you off, but it's called the Chinese Album. But yeah, Space Hog, kind of definitely a band from the late 90s, and I don't know if they went on to do anything else. Monster Magnet, about as close as you're going to get to swamp rock at this point, and they had the album Power Trip with the song Space Lord, the only concert that I've ever, put together. We were going to the radio station I was at was thinking about buying a venue, which they later did, and so they decided we're going to start putting on concerts of our own. And this was the only one I've ever done. Monster Magnet and Buck Cherry, these guys were great, especially considering that they were working with somebody who had never put on a concert before. And Hole. A lot of bad things get said about Courtney Love. I'm sure 99% of them are absolutely deserved, but this is still a great album, regardless of who the lead singer is. The writer's Billy Corgan, which is probably the best album he's ever done. But this is solid pretty much all the way through. It's again, it's a theme here. This is great, not as great as the one before it. Same here. This is great, not as great as Live Through This. But yeah, Celebrity Skin from Hole. I always thought the song Awful was great. That's the second track on here. Malibu, of course, the title track. Great stuff on here. And then one that I thought I had, but I don't have, is the band Air. French band, as they're known in America, and Moon
Good
Safari. Definitely not rock. Definitely different vibe on that.
I'll be showing that one, yeah.
Dreamy and just, really, really well done. Willie Nelson put out Teatro, I think is how you pronounce it.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, the Spanish kind of flavored album. Didn't he work with Daniel Lanois on that?
I'm not sure, but the album cover is that theater, right?
Yeah, that abandoned looking theater.
Yeah, that had a RSD release like 10 years ago. My friend got it.
Yeah, I think it just got
a great one. So those are my 1998s. Yeah, again, a better year than I thought. One thing that I noticed that's missing, though, Just like it was, I think I mentioned this in one of the other years, probably 97 or 96. Where is the soul? Where's the R&B? Where's the funk? Where's the blues? You know, there's none of that. Any kind of music that's made by African Americans has been unfortunately replaced. You know, like musicians have been replaced by drum loops and samples and whatever. And if it's not hip hop or straight up pop music like Destiny's Child or something like that, it doesn't exist in 1998. That's really sad. I you know, that's one of the things that made these late 90s years so awful, is just the absolute lack of organic music made by Black people. Like, you know, you had all that great soul and funk of the 70s. You had that great fun kind of, you know, whatever, 80s kind of R&B stuff. You had the disco stuff, and that was done by real musicians. You had either the people in bands or like the great studio musicians of the time. 60s, obviously, no exception to that. You had Booker T and the MGs making a lot of it, and the Parquets, but zero in 1998. It seems like if it's not hip hop or pop, it doesn't. There's no funk. There's no soul. There's no blues. So yeah. Too bad. Those are my 98s. Tops.
Okay. I have a few honorable mentions and I have a top 15. I just feel like I need to mention them, even though the single was like their only hit, and I think they've disappeared and never. But I just remember listening to the song a lot with my friends in Seattle at this time. I was all over the radio. But Harvey Danger with Flagpole Sitta. It's not the best song in the world, but I just have fun memories of it. And I do have to mention Lords of Acid with Pussy, because I mean, show me your pussy. Show it to me.
Harvey Danger didn't go anywhere because the lead singer was a complete jerk off to like everybody.
Really? Okay.
And he started that song came out and became a hit. And when you have a hit song or whatever, and you're a new band, you do interview tours, all the radio stations interview you and whatever. And he was just a total ass and thought he was going to be Mr. Attitude. And he was so bad that everybody was like, we're not adding anymore. Fuck that. And that's why they didn't have a follow-up single.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We experienced that firsthand.
Where am I at? Then Imogen Heap, her first album came out that year called Microphone. And her first single was called Come Here Boy. And it was her sound was completely different on that first record and then what it would later, because a couple years later, 2 or 3 4 years later, she would blow up with Hide and Seek with auto-tune. But the acapella and like that, but yeah, Imogen is like one of my absolute favorites. So you cannot stream this anywhere because I wanted to listen to it, so I had to break out my 12. I don't have the album because Mike probably has it. But The Creatures with Second Floor. So there's my 12. You know, it's on Animus. But yeah, I know that album is really expensive, but yeah, you can't stream it. Their first 2 albums, I think, is all that you can stream of The Creatures. But
they're nowhere to be found.
If you don't know, The Creatures is Susie and Budgie, right? Mm-hmm. Susie and Budgie from Susie and the Banshees.
I like some of their stuff better than Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah. I hadn't listened to this.
More percussive. It's got a lot.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to this in a really long time. I just listened to it before. The song is, I love that song, Second Floor. So good. Let's see, where am I at? My last honorable mention, the fantastic duet that was everywhere that year, Brandy and Monica with The Boy Is Mine, The Boy Is Mine, The Boy Is Mine, The Boy Is Mine.
The Boy Is Yours.
It's
all yours, Greg.
The Boy Is Mine. Okay. Number 15 would be Mono with Life in Mono. And that album was just really reissued on vinyl. 14 would be Tori Amos with Jackie's Strength. This is very rare, by the way.
That album came out the year before, though, right? That's not a 98 album.
No, it's 98.
No, the single came out in 98, and I thought the album
No, I think the album came out. Is that from Choir Boy?
Yeah, from the Choir Girl.
Yeah, that's 98, because it's coming up on my next list.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember seeing that on the list.
There's some really good stuff on here, and there's some really not good stuff on it. But yeah, this is really valuable. Number 13, Lisa Stansfield had her first self-titled album. I think she's had 3 or 4. But I'm leaving. Baby, I'm leaving. You shouldn't have done me. Now watch what I do to you. Okay, let's see. Number 12, The Power of Goodbye from Ray of Light. Yeah, this song, Ray of Light, has never been a favorite of mine.
Oh my God.
I know it's a lot of people's, but it's never. I think it's because it was so overplayed. It was just everywhere.
Probably, yeah.
It's definitely no love song.
Here we go.
It's definitely no love song. Shut your face. Fifth in. Number 11, album is from 97, single is from 98. Janet Jackson, probably her best album. I go back and forth, but this is Every Time.
Never seen that. I
The
like
Velvet
that cover.
Rope.
I love that cover.
Oh, this is so good. She's all over the place in her topics. So great. Ann Lee, this was all over the dance clubs at the time with her song 2 Times. Do, 2 times, 3 times. And then she said 2 times again. You should say 4 times if you're saying 2 times, 3 times. But whatever. I digress. Number 9, Garbage with I Think I'm Paranoid. So I remember when that song came out, and it was just like, I'm like, yeah, this is so.
The whole album.
So
the whole album is just
great.
Perfect.
This song and this album, I just adore, but this brought a vocalist back that we hadn't heard from for a minute or two. And so Massive Attack featuring Elizabeth Fraser from the Cocktail Twins with Teardrop. And this is so great.
Teardrop's great.
That album has been on my want list for so long, and I just never get around to picking it up.
I have all their albums except that one, and that's.
This is the only one I have. It's so good.
Really?
The bug on I don't really like that scary bug, but my friend Christy got it for me for my birthday last year. We used to play that all the time. Number 7, George Michael with Outside. Yes, the song. That is a way when you get in trouble in a public toilet, that is the best revenge, is create a hit single out of it. Get the video that gets banned with disco toilets, people in cop outfits. Like, yeah, that was like awesome. Number 6 would be Radiohead with No Surprises. Probably my favorite Radiohead song of all time. Then she came back in 1998. Hadn't heard from her since like 90 or 91. So like first album in like 8 years or whatever. First single, she had a couple guest vocalists on it, Faith Evans and Kelly Price. But Whitney Houston with the Heartbreak Hotel. This is the Heartbreak Hotel. This just got, I have a promo of this, but that's just black cover. But yeah, this was just reissued with the actual cover art last year. Number 4, Marilyn Manson with The Dope Show, because that's just brilliant. I love that entire record. I don't know, I'm back and forth. I think it's a little better than Antichrist Superstar, in my opinion. But they're both great. Yeah, here it is again. Not the greatest album of all time, like it was on a recent list, because that's incorrect information. No, not New Radicals. But yes, Lauryn Hill with Doo Wop, That Thing. As you know,
will that be on all 4 of our lists? We'll find out when Richard does his.
Yeah, well, he just said earlier he's never heard it, so it'll be on your other list. And number 2 would be the Cardigans with My Favorite Game. And my favorite single and this album, and the album is mentioned, of 1998 would be Hole with Celebrity Skin. This is a fantastic album.
I've never heard it.
It's so good.
It's really good. I mean, I don't know how much Courtney Love had to do with it.
Well, that seems to be the case with her. It's almost like her best albums are ones that were done for her.
I'm done. Richard?
All right. Well, got some news for our 1998. We got January 28th. Interscope Records pays a Portland radio station $5,000 to play Limp Bizkit's single Counterfeit 50 times. So we've got the allegations of payola going on, but at the same time, it really raised Limp Bizkit's profile.
Which is ridiculous because that kind of a thing had been going on for years and years and years. I don't know. I never knew why that particular deal was singled out. I mean, that was a thing that even went on, in Springfield, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be careful. Maybe it's because they were so blatant about it in an email or whatever.
I think that was the key. They were just like so blatant, so out with it that it caught everybody's
usually couldn't do cash. The way that it was done usually was through promotional items. Like we'll give you a trip, we'll give you concert tickets to a concert somewhere else. It's not coming to your market. And then we're going to set your winners up in hotels. If it's really far away, we'll give airfare and all that kind of stuff. And that is the money that comes, but you got to play this song this many times. And then you get into the real sketchy stuff like cocaine and whatever. But usually it was more like promotional, airfare, hotel, concert tickets, free guitar, autographed guitar, just whatever. I mean, for major, LA and New York, a free car, whatever they were giving away. But yeah, it wasn't but that kind of thing was going, it was really plugola, but that kind of thing was going on so many, I never got why it was like, oh my God, this happened in 1998 and it was Limp Bizkit and $500,000. It's like, no, that went on in 97, 96, 95, 94, 93. Yeah.
Well, and then February 5th, Rob Halford publicly comes out during an MTV interview. Then we alluded to this earlier. Craig did. April 7th, that is when George Michael was arrested in the public restroom in Beverly Hills.
So that song came out right after.
Yeah. He was sentenced to community service, and he was later quoted to say that the incident was subconsciously deliberate.
We'll give you an autographed Green Day guitar to give away if you play this song so many times.
Oh, wow.
And the winner never picks it up, so Robert takes it home, and now he's got a free guitar autographed by Green Day.
Wow.
That kind of thing.
You ever play it?
Oh, yeah. I was playing it for a few years. I couldn't do it now, but I was determined to learn how to play the guitar for a couple of years, and I got good at playing basic rhythm type stuff. I could never do any kind of plucking or the example I always use is I Love Rock and Roll. I got really good at the down, but I could never do that. I could play Highway to Hell.
Outside was released.
Well, that's a good one. May 8th is when a British court rules in favor of the Beatles and Yoko Ono to stop the release of another issue of Live at the Star Club. So all copies of the recording and the original tape were awarded to the Beatles, as well as damages and legal costs. So I had no idea that there was all this deal about Live at the Star Club. And
I have a copy.
Well, there you go.
I didn't know it was a big deal either.
Oh, yeah. It was released a couple different ways, and then that's the thing that they keep wanting Peter Jackson to work on. Instead of remixing great albums that don't need to be remixed, get on those Star Club tapes, and digitally take out the noise and the whatever and make them sound good and presentable. And that's something that we didn't have before.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice, yeah. September 16th is when Lou Reed performs for Václav Havel, the Czech Republic president, at the White House. Interesting performer for Václav Havel, but he was an interesting president.
Yeah.
October 8th, the Recording Industry Association of America files against Diamond Multimedia in an attempt to block the release of the new Rio PMP 300, arguing that the MP3 digital audio player is a music piracy device. So this is how, this whole thing, it was, the record companies saying, well, we're not getting any money out of this, damn it. So it's piracy.
Yep.
We own these artists. We made them sign contracts that gave us everything, and we want everything. It's just, So
Kitty.
that was the first commercially successful MP3 player, because that request for an injunction was denied. Cher released her 22nd studio album, Believe, which becomes the most successful album of her career. It peaks at number 1 in 7 countries, number 4 in the US, and 7 in the UK. Album went on to sell 20 million copies worldwide, was certified platinum 16 in at least 16 countries, and it became one of the best-selling albums of all time. Mm-hmm. So some fun things. But when it came to music, I really don't have a lot of music from 1998. And what I did pull out, this is an honorable mention that nobody mentioned, and I kind of like it. It's REM's Up. It's a decent record. I gave it a few listens, and it's not bad.
That's wild. I got sick, like I said, and was not feeling well at all. But I actually pulled out that REM CD to listen to it again because I could not remember anything about it. But I have it, and just never got around to it. But yeah, I was going to check this out.
I couldn't remember anything about it either, so I pulled it out and I listened to it, and it wasn't like, oh, this is garbage. No, it's not a bottom to me anyway.
It's the first one after Bill Berry left, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yes. But my 6 albums in ascending order, start off, as was mentioned, Ray of Light. Although I do really like Confessions on a Dance Floor much better than Ray of Light. I mean, I like the songs that are on Ray of Light, but I like Madonna so much better when it's Dance Madonna, and she's really, doing the house and dance house music. Then this is a really good album. Boards of Canada. Music Has the Right to Children. It's just excellent electronic and ambient music that's danceable. It's got some real danceability to it, with some syncopated techno rhythms.
That's probably their best, right?
Well, the next one, what's it called? Geo something, is really good too. It's hard to say which one is better. I'm kind of surprised, Mike, you didn't mention this one, but maybe you don't think this is that good. But
no, I don't have it.
Oh, well, Spoon, a series of sneaks.
Yeah,
it's a lot of really good, short, punchy songs. It's one I really do enjoy of theirs. I don't have a copy of this one. I have a burned copy, but Sheryl Crow, The Globe Sessions came out, and I just love the song "My Favorite Mistake." I love her. I guess you could call it a cover with Mississippi, but Bob Dylan really wrote that song for her, and then he ended up doing it later. Crash and Burn is another great song on there. And then I always loved There Goes the Neighborhood.
That's a good one.
Calexico, you mentioned, really great. I mean, I've only recently started listening to Calexico. I mean,
Yeah.
I had just moved out of Tucson just before they were starting to hit the local bars and playing in the bars. And I swear that if I had still been living there, I would have been listening to them and all over their stuff, because everything I pick up, even the stuff I see that's only rated like 3 stars or whatever, I think it's fantastic. I just love what they do.
They've also done a couple of records with the band Iron and Wine.
Don't know that.
Yeah, if you pick up their album, it's called In the Rains. I think it's considered an EP. It's Iron and Wine and Calexico, and it's terrific. It's got that Calexico horn section, and it's got Sam Beam from Iron and Wine. His voice is so soothing. It's a really good listen.
Yeah, I find the CDs, but not a lot of their catalog was only CD.
Yeah,
and it's difficult to find, the vinyl releases. But clearly, my number one release for the year is Air. This is just such a gorgeous album, and they're going to be playing here in Chicago in October, I think it is, at the Auditorium Theater, and they're playing this album. They're going to be doing this entire album, and I'm really excited about that. I mean, it holds up. It still sounds amazing today, just as amazing as when it was released. I mean, it's got that whole classic down-tempo synth pop feel to it. And Sexy Boy and Kelly Watch the Stars.
Oh yeah, that's the song. I don't like that song.
Yeah, there's
Sexy Boy.
In fact, I just saw today that it's a British seller, and I can't remember the name of the seller. I'll have to go check my email. But they're releasing a 7-inch single that has 4 different mixes of Sexy Boy plus a copy of an issue of a magazine that was focused on that particular record. And I'm trying to think, it's a fairly well-known vinyl online seller that's out of Great Britain, but I can't remember the name of it. But those, that's what I have for 1998. Not a whole lot, but a lot of stuff. Just like Lauryn Hill. It's not that I haven't ever listened to anything by her. It's just what I've heard just never did anything for me. It's just,
thank you, Richard.
It's I don't know why she got all those Grammys. To me, it's
they're all for that album, aren't they?
yeah,
This is her only album.
Yeah, she's not really done anything.
But there's a lot.
She did an MTV Unplugged like a couple years after this, and that's it. Yeah, and then a couple one-off singles. Every once in a while, there was a one-off Fuji single, and she makes appearances here and there. But
I forgot 2 tops: the English band Pulp with "This Is Hardcore."
Oh yeah, that's a good.
And then
one.
I forgot about this one because I have it on a record. The Donnas, American Teenage Rock and Roll Machine, and I just found out about these ladies just a few months ago, as a matter of fact, because the As It Should Be channel kept talking about them, and I knew about them via their major label release, whatever that one was called. I thought that one was okay. It sounded like a lot of what other stuff out at the time, so I really didn't take much notice. This is much better. They kind of sound like a version of the Runaways. They're just bratty girls, but they're just this album is just so much fun. Yeah, it is just really a lot of fun, and it doesn't sound really too much like 1998. But
does that have Rock and Roll Machine on it? Is that the one with Rock and Roll Machine?
Yeah, that's the name of it.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, that's the name of the album. Is Rock and Roll Machine? Oh,
yeah.
I'm American Teenage Rager.
Right. Yeah, that's the first track, I think.
Don't do this.
So those are our tops of 1998, but it all wasn't roses and Rainbows, it was also, we had Bottoms from 1998 as well, and Mike starts those off.
Yeah. I had, it was just kind of disappointing, like, I mean, I was going to mention the Tori Amos girl, the Choir Girl Hotel. Is it a bad album? No, but it's it's disappointing. I was expecting more. The only other really bad, I hated this album. I hated this song. The single was all over the fucking radio. I think there was 2 singles that were everywhere, and it's that damn David Gray, White Ladders. Do you remember that crap? Oh my!
I remember
Babylon on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Babylon and Please Forgive Me,
yes.
and yeah, that's one of my favorites. So see, it's okay that I hate New Radicals, because that is probably definitely in like my top probably 30 favorite albums of all time. White Ladder.
Well, 30. I mean, 30's okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah. No,
I've seen him live several times, and yeah, I love David Gray.
I don't.
That's okay.
You know what it is? I hated that album, and it was everywhere. That single was all over the place, and I didn't get his Blue-Eyed Soul. It
just seemed like it was kind of not anything. It just kind of seemed like,
yeah, but it was so popular.
I wondered why. What is the draw of this?
Ask Craig.
Yeah, what's the draw?
There's something, I mean, with his vocals and the way he delivered things, just like especially in 1998, like actually I thought the album came out in 99, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, at that time, I mean, there was just something. It's, oh my God, and the way he does Soft Cells, Say Hello, Wave Goodbye, or whatever. He sings that song.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have. I had something else, but I don't see it. Oh, I had REM up. Sorry. Another one, because disappointing. Not a horrible album, but disappointing compared to everything else. I mean, it's definitely my least favorite in their entire.
I think I might have one that's even less of a favorite, but
yeah. So yeah, that's all I really had. But I was surprised by 98. I really was. There was more I liked than I thought I was going to like.
Well, I could talk about all the new metal, like the Godsmack and I don't know if Creed was even out then, but I've done that 3 times already, and I've gone over all that bullshit. So there's no
still
point
ain't a lady.
Needless to say, there was 100 of those out at the time where it was just this shitty hard rock music that I had to play over and over again. So skipping all of that, Lenny Kravitz really starts to disappoint at this point.
Downfall.
He started off so great. Let Love Rule album was great all the way through. I really liked the follow-up. Are You Gonna Go or Mama Said, then Are You Gonna Go My Way? Wasn't really keen on Circus, and then it just kept getting worse with this 5 album that had the remake of American Woman on it that was so bad they had to remix it because they thought it was a technical difficulty. It's like, no, that's the way that's supposed to sound at the end. Yeah, 5, not one of my favorite Lenny Kravitz albums. He started off so strong. Same thing with Smashing Pumpkins, this Adore album. This is where people start to lose interest. You're the one that I adore. You'll always be my whore. I was like, dude, just stop.
That's sweet.
It's ridiculous. Sweet. So I'm not really that familiar with the whole album, but that one song was that's terrible. The Offspring. I liked Ixnay on the Hombre even. I thought Gone Away was great, and some of the other songs on there. I always liked the Come Out and Play and whatever, and they were my first backstage experience, so that was really cool. But then they come out with Americana, which just was like, who is this for? Little kids? Stupid ass shit like Pretty Fly for a White Guy and
Get a Job.
Get a job. Yeah, why don't you get a job? It's just it's terrible. It's sing-songy.
They seem to become very parody later. I mean, their stuff but it was like I'm making fun of things.
We're making fun of ourselves or something. I don't know. It was a bad idea right from the get-go. Metallica came out with Garage Inc., where they re-released their, older Garage Revisited album. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about disc 1, the new recordings for 1998, where they go ahead and decide to remake Whiskey in the Jar from Thin Lizzy that we had to play over and over again. Bob Seger's Turn the Page.
Not good.
No, not good at all. And we had to play that shit over and over again. And then you're going to have people, oh, well, Metallica's Turn the Page blows Bob Seger's away. Yo, it's extreme. Yo, it's off the chain, or whatever the fuck people were saying back in
Heard it.
1998.
Off the chain.
Terrible.
Like a
You're
rabid
missing
dog.
nothing. It's
Terrible.
not good. Yeah.
Like a falcon that's schizophrenic.
I can't even read this. My eyes are like glazed because I'm got like a cold or COVID or something. I can't even read what the other songs are. But yeah, terrible. Then you have this awful Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. This is when I was I was playing all this horrible rock music on the radio, and as I was saying before, I was looking for something that is like, where did all the soul music go? Where did all the funk music go? Where did all the R&B? Where did all the blues? Where did all that organic, a real band playing, not a bunch of bullshit samples and drum machines and loops and all that nonsense? Is there something I would ask around? People, oh my God, you got to hear. Oh, well, wait, you got to hear Lauryn Hill. Oh, Lauryn Hill. Oh, Lauryn Hill. Everybody was, you got to get this Lauryn. I went out and bought this with my own hard-earned money. Everything else that I've shown is a promo copy that I got for free. You will notice this has a UPC symbol on it with no hole in it. There is no drill hole in that. There is no punch hole in that. I bought this with my own money, retail price from the store. And got it home and listened to it. Actually listened to it in the car because that's what we did in those days. We had CD players in our car. And it was just like, this is the kind of shit this isn't anything. And then it's just kind of there. And all the stupid 1, 2, 1, 2, what? Why are you saying what over and over again? What? Jesus Christ, how fucking annoying.
Yeah, here it come again.
And then it wins 1 million Grammys. And this was kind of like the very early cusp of learning what the Grammys were all about. I kind of knew some things, but I didn't know as much as I know now. And this was kind of one of the things that compelled me to learn more about the Grammys and why things. And now it's like, oh, debut album wins a bunch of Grammys. Red flag, red flag, red flag. So yeah, this won a bunch of Grammys. It's a debut album, and now I know exactly what that means. But wow, if that wasn't enough, I find out she's a fucking Fuji. She's one of the people responsible for ruining that fucking Killing Me Softly song from Roberta Flack that I used to love so much as a child. I had no idea. I went out and bought a fucking Fuji with my own fucking money. I was so pissed. I'm like, I cannot believe I went and spent money on
for a long time. I never heard Roberta Flack's version. So when I was watching the movie About a Boy, and they're talking about that song, I'm sitting there thinking, because they are kind of making a parody of it, and I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, this is a song to make fun of because the song is a piece of shit. I had never listened to Roberta Flack, and then I did one day, and I'm like, wait a minute.
I've always loved that Roberta Flack. Even as a little kid, I've loved that Roberta Flack version. And then they come out with this bullshit. One time, 2 times. What are you saying?
It would be better without Wyclef and Praz or whatever.
Yeah, and without Lauryn Hill. You got to get the version that doesn't have the Fugees on it and has Roberta Flack. That's the better version without any of them on it. Terrible.
I think Lauryn, whether you like,
I was so fucking pissed.
Or not.
And then you find out later on, after all these accolades, she's a terrible person. And I love it when somebody I can't stand turns out to be an awful person, because then I could just be
I
like,
will agree with. She's kind of a bitch.
She is anti-trans, anti-gay, treats her fans with utter contempt and disrespect. One thing I will say, I do like the cover. That's about it.
Well, you still have it 30 years later, so you.
Well, yeah, I had to. I knew I'd be talking about it.
30 years.
It's
later.
a lesson not to listen to other people's bullshit. Yeah, this is my last one, and everybody hates this, so there's no controversy here. Van Halen 3 with Gary Cherone on the vocals. Absolutely terrible. We all knew it was terrible from the first listen. We're all sitting there listening to this, going first single, going, "What the fuck is this?" First single called "Without You" is just horrible. It goes off on all these different directions. It's just proof that Eddie Van Halen could not write a song. He had no idea how to write a song. He does guitar solos, but this thing goes in all different kinds of directions and whatever. Great guitar player, not a songwriter. And
I don't think
this
I've ever
thing
heard
is
it.
terrible all the way through. All the way through. I've done 2 different videos. I've mentioned that album in, so you can see those. I won't go into all of it, but yeah, it's terrible. Gary Cherone joins Van Halen, for God's sakes.
I don't know who that is.
He is the guy from Extreme.
Oh, that's not. I mean, I don't like Van Halen, so it doesn't like. I've never understood it, but
I've never been a Van Halen fan either.
And they lost me after Hagar. Actually,
that
they
definitely.
lost me during.
I like
Hagar.
David. If it's Van Halen, for me, it's David Lee Roth. Van
Yeah.
I
Halen.
kind of liked Panama, the song Panama.
It's
Panama.
gotta be David Lee Roth. Yeah,
But
they were downhill after 1984.
I'm from St. Louis. I like Sammy Hagar too, but those are my bottoms.
I like Sammy Hagar's solo stuff. I think he's great.
So yeah, bottom crap. There's some interesting, terrible stuff, you know.
Oh, I forgot one.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
must
I
be the
haven't started
cold.
yet, so. No, go ahead. I haven't started.
Just this one that I just heard like last year for the first time. I didn't even know it in 1998 or anything about it, but it has this like following now out of nowhere. It's like a hipster album. It's by this band called Neutral Milk Hotel, and it's Aeroplane or something like that.
I was surprised you didn't mention that because we've talked about that record.
Yeah.
Well, I
don't know
thought
if it was
I
on
talked
air. I
about
don't know if we were
we should.
recording it
I
or
was
not.
thinking we should review it because everybody says this is such a great album,
Yeah,
and I've
we
never
talked
heard it. And I'm like,
I finally heard it at the record store,
Yeah, I
and
knew
it's
you would hate it.
yeah, it's not good.
I remember it being really big at the time, and I know
Huge.
I heard
Still
it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, everybody. I lived in
Yeah, it was a
Seattle at the
big
time, though,
album.
too. So
I don't
like,
remember that at all
They,
from
they just
1998.
toured
Everybody.
the entire thing. It was like an anniversary thing, and they're playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody talked about
a
that
lot.
record.
A lot of the kids still listed in their like top.
Oh yeah.
Their top 10 albums of all time.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I get that, but what I'm saying is I don't remember it from 1998. It seems to me to be more of like a 2016 album or something because it has this second life all of a sudden where all the young hipsters love it.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
hipsters loved it in '98 too. So, 1998 brought us her first single, and we didn't need it, but Britney came to us in 1998. Her first album came out the following year, but her single "Baby One More Time," which was everywhere for like 50 years.
Really? That was 98?
98. Hit Me Baby One More Time. Of course, you know I hate New Radicals, so I don't really need to say much more about that. Record, most miserable experience of my life. Limp Bizkit's horrible cover of Faith. Eiffel 65 with Blue Dabby Dee Dabby Da. It was everywhere. I loved it then. I hate it now.
Same. I loved it then. I hate it now.
Yeah, I really, really loved it then, but it's like now it grates. You know, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I almost said chalk on a nails board.
It still works.
There were a couple Dick songs in 1998. Blink 82 had a song called Dick Lips, and Jerry Cantrell has a song called Dick Eye. So I thought, you know, there's Dick songs. I've never heard either one of them. I had mentioned this band before. They're, I believe, Australian. Tism. This is Serious Mom. So they're back. They're the ones that defecated on the defecated song that it was a few years back that I don't know. I don't remember what, but this year they have a single called I Might Be a Cunt, but I'm Not a Fucking Cunt. So I didn't listen to it. I don't know anything about it. Vanilla Ice released Too Cold, Hard to Swallow, and he calls it skate rock, and he has like a metal version of Ice Ice Baby, basically. We didn't need it. We didn't.
I remember that.
Yeah,
we don't need that.
It's not bueno. And China Phillips released a solo record called Naked and Sacred. It's no bueno. But probably
Ain't nothing sacred about being naked.
the biggest piece of garbage that was released in 1998, fucking everywhere. I wanted to take an ice pick to my ears every single time it came on. Not Lauryn Hill. Well, New Radical's close, but this is worse. This is worse. So Praz, Old Dirty Bastard, and Maya. I think it was on a soundtrack.
Wait, are these people?
Yes. Praz, who I
Roz
believe
was in the Fugees, right?
He was in the Fugees. And then you have Old Dirty Bastard. And Maya, I actually liked her. But they had Ghetto Superstar. That is what you are. And they're basically taking Islands in the Stream is the chorus. And it's Ghetto Superstar. That is the biggest piece of fucking shit in the whole goddamn world. Why are you messing with Islands in the Stream?
That's from the movie Bulwark, right?
I don't know what movie
With
it's from.
Warren Beatty.
Yeah, I don't know.
Warren Beatty
terrible.
sure was famous for making a lot of pretty bad movies.
Oh, he was in good movies like Dick Tracy.
Well, there were some good ones, but he made a lot of especially.
Well, I mean, I don't remember how good. I think the movie was okay, but that song, I remember that song. Yeah.
I don't know that movie, but that song, Jess. Oh,
They were bad movies that you could laugh at while you were watching.
Yeah, Warren Beatty's made a lot of bad movies, but he's also made some of the best movies ever made,
like Hair.
And Bonnie and Clyde. And, yeah.
Wasn't he in Hair?
Hair? No.
Yeah. That's not Warren Beatty.
Shampoo.
No, Shampoo.
Shampoo.
It has.
Shampoo was one of those.
Hair.
Who's the guy in Hair?
All right.
Well, shampoo, hair, it all goes together.
That's right.
It does, Greg.
It's all wet and stringy.
Treat, right?
Yeah.
Treat Williams.
Yeah, Treat Williams. Yeah.
In Hair, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Treat Williams.
They're nothing alike, but.
All right. Was that it, Craig?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm over.
I don't have any bottoms for songs, but I was noticing going through the list of releases that there were some bands that had some debuts during the year that had some. Well, there were some bands that had some clever names. All right. There was a band called Freakwater, which was this alternative country band. It's kind of a clever name. I don't know anything about their music, but I kind of like that.
You're doing band names?
Well, yeah, I'm going to get to those in a minute here. I just wanted to share, there were some clever ones. Now, I don't like their music, but Dropkick Murphys, that's a pretty clever name, I think, for a band. Wingtip Sloat, that was, that's kind of an interesting name. And then Morning Again, I think Morning Again, God, it's Morning Again, it kind of evokes that feeling with me. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. But then there were these bands. One of them was called Nashville Pussy.
Oh yeah, I know Nashville Pussy.
Yeah, they're from Atlanta. And the debut album title was "Let Them Eat Pussy."
As one should.
Why?
Not.
Then there was a band called Cradle of Filth.
Yeah, know them.
Yeah, they're like
the one that
metal,
just really takes it. I mean, I don't. Why would you call your band this? Anal Cunt.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Yeah, Cunt. They were the ones that had like the minute-long songs.
Yeah, well, why? Couldn't you come up with something a little? You could be provocative, you could be outrageous, but why?
Were they jazz fusion?
Well, you mentioned them.
What?
I think you answered your own question.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're looking over all these band names and you see Nashville Pussy and Anal Cunt, and you're like, I'm gonna mention these names, they're so outrageous. There's your answer. It's
Well,
the
it's
year.
not that they
been-
were outrageous. I'm going.
I'm
Why?
outrageous.
Why would you do this?
Why?
But I guess you're right because it gets people, it gets
Right.
attention. But
And it's the era of extreme.
well,
Wait,
Yeah.
Extreme was still together? I thought.
They were still
Yeah.
together, yeah.
But he's not in the band anymore?
But he's in Van Halen now.
Oh yeah. Well, they got back together, I guess.
Oh.
Wow.
Well,
that's
'cause
what I
he's
have
only
for
been in
bottoms.
for a
I
month and
just
a
think
half.
those are just those are trashy names.
Wow. Thanks for that, Richard.
Yeah,
Nashville Pussy.
you're
Midland.
Have you ever seen Anal
welcome.
Cunt's logo?
What?
Have you ever seen Anal Cunt's logo?
No, I don't want to. Oh,
Well,
Perhaps
they're known
I've
as
seen it on
AC.
X-Tube.
And the A would be the anal, and the C would be the vaginal. So A looks like an asshole, and then C looks like a vagina.
That's romantic.
Do I have? I think I have the Nashville Pussy.
of course you do.
And Nashville Pussy is not anything that you would think they would sound like, if I'm correct.
I have no idea what kind of music. I didn't write down what kind of music. Cradle of Filth is a death
there they
metal
are.
band, I think.
They look exactly
they
like.
have that.
Yeah, they sound exactly like you think they would.
Yeah.
And they're from Atlanta.
Cradle of Filth.
Right.
Do I have that?
Nashville Pussy, and they're from Atlanta. You can't get any down in Georgia?
Well, you know what that's referencing, right?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you knew.
Oh.
Nashville Pussy references Ted Nugent
There's why I don't know.
on the great Live Gonzo's album, which was always going to be very special to me. My first time on a commercial, maybe it was my second night on a commercial radio station. I have a job in radio. This is what I've wanted. Here I am. And we're playing CDs. I think I've told this story before, where we played CDs. And we play Wang Dang Sweet Poontang. The live version is the version to play. And, kind of like I Want You to Want Me or Turn the Page. The live version is the preferred version. And, we have the music log at that time was printed off on paper. And it was a dot matrix printer with the ink running out. So I don't see the little note. You see the big song title and the big artist name and the big CD number and the track number. That's all very clear, but I don't see the little note that's in a smaller font that says cue past, 1 minute, 17 seconds. Do not play full song. I don't see that because it's very tiny and it's not really legible. So he opened, the song starts with, and I play this right on the radio. Of course, I'm on in the middle of the night because I'm just starting. So thankfully, no one heard it. Like, none of the people that work there heard it. Program director didn't hear it. But he comes on and he's like, it's a live album. And he's like, oh, nobody wants to get mellow tonight. Anybody wants to get mellow can turn around and get the fuck out. We want to dedicate this song to all that Nashville pussy. It's a little love song called Wang Dang Sweet Poontang.
Now that you started telling this, I remember this. I remember.
Yeah, so he's obviously live in Nashville, and he's dedicating the song to all that Nashville pussy.
Wow.
So that's where they get that.
All right.
I'm assuming, that would be where that name comes from.
Wow.
Makes
That's
sense.
great.
Makes sense.
I mean, how many other live albums where somebody's just talking between songs and, somebody can just reference some one-off comment like that and make a band name out of it?
Yeah.
And most people, the cool people at least, no.
How many records did they make?
Zing.
Probably 5 or 6. I don't really know.
Yeah,
I mean, they were one of those ones that
I
came
think
out. They
think
never really
just
got played on the
didn't-
radio because they were called Nashville Pussy.
Yeah.
And so they were more of an underground thing. And they were here and then they were here. And then all of a sudden now they're not even on a major label and now they're not even anything. And so I don't know how many they made. But yeah, they're on Mercury.
Yeah, I feel like they just had an album come out.
Oh, dear God. Wow.
What's our next year?
Yeah, what is our next year, Craig?
Their last album came out in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, this is funny. 1971.
Oh wow! I feel like we've done that, but I guess not.
I
Ah,
haven't.
one
Yeah,
of the
we
greatest
haven't.
years in rock.
And I was just asking about 1970.
Yeah, yeah, and I for real pulled it. I didn't do that because you asked it.
Okay.
God, it seems like we did that, but I guess probably not.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
We still have a few 70s
Well, that's a
left.
good year.
Yeah.
All right, so 1971 coming up with tops and bottoms. We've also got an album review that we're going to do from John Grant, his debut called Queen of the Forest. Oh wait, that's Ted Nugent too. So yeah, that's all on the way. We might play another one of our games on the way as well, so be sure to stick around for that. We'd like to dedicate this show to all that Boise, Idaho pussy. We are the we are almost of the Nashville Guncles. We are the final community Guncles. I'm Robert Fifth, and along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Boise. Ugh. Okay. I'm
The Boise Boys.
The bluthera. But he's
Mike it up tunes.
I knew a guy that would refer to his boyfriend's sexual orifice as a mud pussy. And we'll talk to you again next time. Thank you so much for watching.
I'd rather.
I've heard
go with
mussy, mussy and bussy and a man pussy.
A munt.
Oh God, I've heard munt before. It's like no, it's none of those things. I don't want to. No.